Welcome back to another North Carolina Tar Heels football recruiting podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you're watching us on our fast-growing YouTube channel, that is called Tar Heel Illustrated. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and joining me is our Director of Football Recruiting, Miss Deana King. And Deana, the Tar Heels have landed a commitment. It's been a while. A little more quiet here over the last month than we originally anticipated. A couple of kids had moved their commitment dates back, Joshua Horton not being one of them. He is a three-star defensive lineman, more a strong side defensive end, 6'5", 295 pounds. He attends Langston Hughes High School in Fairburn, Georgia. I'll read some other specs about him here in a moment, but your initial thoughts, well, you kind of knew for a while, your thoughts on Joshua Horton popping for Mack Brown, Gene Chizik, Tim Cross, and the Tar Heels.
He came up that big recruiting weekend with 18 or so other possible recruits for Carolina, and you know, he had a great time. He got to check out, you know, everything about UNC and see what they have to offer. You know, I think he's kind of a sleeper kid. You know, his rankings, you know, people want to look at star rankings and stuff, but, you know, he's a kid from Georgia, and Georgia is firmly in Carolina's recruiting footprint. And so staff likes something about him. So, I mean, you know, that defensive line room, as we have talked all year, is the strong point of this football program, and getting a kid like Horton is only going to add to it. 6'5", 295. You know, he has the possibility of playing on the end, strong side defensive end, maybe in the defensive tackle position. So just an overall big pickup for Coach Brown, Coach Cross, and Coach Chizik.
Yeah, DE/3 technique guy from Georgia, maybe undervalued, 5.5 ranking. There's a guy named Kamen Rucker that comes to mind. Same type of dude. Kamen's not as long, maybe not. He wasn't as big and isn't as big as Horton, but there's some similarities there. The staff zeroed on him. They liked him a lot. They went for him. They got him, and look who's played above his ranking so far, Kamen Rucker. You envision maybe perhaps something similar with Horton?
Yeah, I mean, you know, these guys, when they get to college, you know, he's going to be playing for two outstanding coaches, you know, Coach Brown, Coach Chizik, and then Coach Cross has been doing a great job with the defensive line this year. You know, we've talked to several players, and they're so deep at that position. So, you know, when he comes in, whenever he decides, if he's an early enrollee or whenever, it's not going to be a rush for him to produce. He can learn and get used to the college game, because as you know, when we talk to a lot of the younger guys, they say one of the biggest adjustments is playing at the college level, at college speeds, playing other big guys and stuff like that.
You may line up against one or maybe 1.5 during a high school year, or a half, meaning like a kid that goes to FCS or something like that. But they're all over the place in college. It's kind of fun. We talk to kids about getting used to that. And that's obviously something Horton will have to. Horton, among his other offers, by the way, Georgia Tech, Colorado, LSU, Miami, Michigan, FSU, Tennessee, a lot of schools offered. He ends up at North Carolina. I think it's important to distinguish the difference here, because some people might be thinking, oh, so this is the guy they get instead of getting Jamal Jarrett. But it really doesn't line up that way, does it?
I think he's been on the radar. I mean, we thought this class was going to be a bigger class, so you're going to, you know, he was on their list, so he was, you know, offered, you know, before they knew anything about Jarrett and everything. So I mean, I don't know if, I mean, sure, when Jarrett decided to go to Georgia, you know, they put more emphasis on Joshua Horton, but you know, like I said, he was there for that big recruiting weekend, and you know, he got to see everything Chapel Hill was about, he stated that, relationship with Coach Cross, seeing, his coaching philosophy. And, we said this several times about the 40-year decision. Is he's looking, all the kids, their dream is to play at the next level. But as you know, everybody doesn't make it to that level, and they're thinking about their future. And North Carolina certainly is a place where they want to help the total student athlete, whether if they do make it to the NFL or if they go whatever they want to do outside of after they graduate. So that factor was huge as well.
Also, Horton's a little bit more of an edge guy. John's a little more of an inside guy. So they would have been happy, I think, landing both, to be perfectly honest with you. Any other thoughts on Horton and how this line is shaping up? And also, I guess that makes it 15 commits in the class. We originally thought maybe 23 to 25, like a full class. Now we're looking at maybe 20. So maybe one more spot along the DL.
Yeah, he's the fourth kid from Georgia, and we talk about how Georgia is a very important state for North Carolina to recruit. So another kid from the Peach State. They've had really good luck with a lot of players from Georgia, here lately. So hopefully Horton will come in and provide some depth when he comes in his freshman year. And, you can't teach size.
And as far as defensive line goes, you think they take one more defensive lineman?
Oh, yeah. If there's a certain defensive lineman from Concord that, they will take Davian Hobbs if he decides to join Carolina. So, they've got some.
And he's announcing in the not too distant.
No, I believe he's going to take it into the season some.
Well, he's postponed, but when I say announcing, I should correct myself. We were going to get a little bit more clarity perhaps on some schools here in the not too distant future, and then he's going to kind of sort it out after that. Is that what we're understanding?
Yeah, he had some schools to, after maybe some targets decided elsewhere, they've turned up the heat on Hobbs. So he's went to a few schools this last month or so. And so his recruiting track has been a little bit different from other ones. He was not on a lot of people's radar, and he kind of busted on the scene after Rivals Camp. So a lot of schools really didn't know about him, and Carolina knew about him really, really early and was one of the first schools to offer. So, but enough on Hobbs. This is Joshua Horton.
Yeah, and I was going to say,
he's a great pickup for Carolina. His Twitter, he's had Carolina a picture on his Twitter profile for a long time. And so, these kids, he really liked UNC and Chapel Hill and everything about it.
Joshua Horton, a 3-star defensive lineman, strong side defensive end, 6'5", 295 pounds, from Langston Hughes High School in Fairburn, Georgia. He is the most recent member of the class of 2023 to commit to North Carolina. That makes 15 in the books. They could add here fairly soon. A couple more spots maybe at the end of the month may get filled as well. For Deana King, this is Andrew Jones. Thank you for stopping by.